sit it, baby. When you see us, so you know you really viewing greatness in the making. Double up on facts we stating. Podcasting, cruise control, city, state, the nation. So what you saying, what we saying, prime information. Facts, topics, stipulations, first down, played it. Presenting topics from Kanye to Tom Brady. Facts, keys to the city, we unlocking the statements.
And ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Keys to the City from All Noise Radio. The time, yeah, I look like I'm in a happier mood, but ladies and gentlemen, he did say a couple of weeks ago that if the New York Giants was prepared to select the one guy I dreaded in this entire draft, they did it. They did the one thing that most Giant fans were petrified. I said it. 24 hours ago, I woke up thinking, not exactly 24 hours ago, but about that time, I came in saying, what were the New York Giants going to do? I was petrified. 24 hours later, I sit here today and say the exact same damn thing. What the hell are the New York Giants doing? Okay, look, I know the Giants needed a franchise quarterback. We know that. Eli Manning. They've been desperately needing one for quite some time. Dave Gettleman, best player available. You're going to sit here at 6 and tell me that Daniel Jones was the 6th best player in this draft. I can't even begin to fathom the emotions, the words that I actually want to say live. And everybody's been bashing me relax, calm down. They said the same thing about Phil Simms. Okay, folks, let's be honest. Do not compare Daniel Jones to Phil Simms. Do not compare Eli Manning to Peyton or Eli Manning. This is a joke. What's so funny? Is it just you?
It was just a shot.
You're out of your
That's
mind.
exactly.
No, they don't need to, because
They were staring at
the
me.
amount of emotions that have been going on since that pick, I can't even begin to say.
It's a good pick.
Us Giant fans, we are the laughingstock of the NFL. I will repeat, the laughingstock of the NFL.
Hold on, I gotta find the movie.
What movie?
You know?
No, forget about the movie.
You know the movie?
Give me your take about this damn pick right now. This is BS. This is ridiculous. You're telling me a year ago at this same time there were 4 quarterbacks that you could have taken with the 2nd pick. Now, I love Saquon Barkley. I think he's going to be a star, a superstar for years to come. But ladies and gentlemen, let's be honest. We're looking at Barry Sanders 2.0. We're looking at the Detroit Lions 2.0. Nothing around Saquon Barkley. We're looking at the Cleveland Browns picking quarterbacks and failing miserably and continuing to go back to this process each and every year. We are the Cleveland Browns. We are the Detroit Lions now of back in the day. We have become the laughingstock of the NFL. It's an absolute joke that out of the 5 quarterbacks last year and the 3 quarterbacks, I only say 2 because Kyler Murray was not going to be there, but the 2 quarterbacks and Drew Lock and Dwayne Haskins. So 7 quarterbacks you passed up to take a guy that played at Duke. Daniel Jones, who to some people, according to Todd McShay, was the 6th rated quarterback in this damn draft. He was a 2nd or 3rd round pick in any other draft. And you're going to sit here and tell me that the New York Giants picked him with the 6th pick and he's the 6th best player?
Go on.
It's devastating.
Go on. I want to tell you something.
It's laughable. It's laughable.
So before I had to use a restroom and I said, I'm going to go take a Gettleman.
Okay. Oh, that's funny.
Because honestly,
it's garbage.
Because that's how I feel. Now, when I woke up this morning, all right, I took a shower. I did my normal routine. I got up, I got dressed, and I'm like, what type of keys is city shirt I'm going to wear? And I had the gray one on, you remember?
I'm disgusted.
And I changed this because I feel like this is a more fitting blue, because that's how I feel. I feel blue. I feel more saddened. I was in the shower and I'm like, you know what? Trevor's going to rip the Giants today. They're going to rip it because
I was afraid I was going to drop some kind of swear word.
Because if you were at our house last night when we watched the draft, our cousin Bernard said, Trev, what are you doing? You're bashing the Giants. You're a Giant fan. It doesn't matter.
I love the Giants. I will never be one of those fans like that.
He said it doesn't matter. You just got to support the team because it's not about the player. It's about the team, right? If Odell Beckham gets traded, we didn't change our feelings. Hey, listen, now we're a Browns fan. Like other people were like, hey, I'm a LeBron fan. Whatever team he's on, I'm going to be that fan of. No, we're Giant fans. Doesn't matter if they had Joe Schmo's 1 through 53. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to have a different perspective. I'm going to look at it from, hey, listen, the Giants chose who they felt were the best.
No.
I know, listen.
No, they did not.
Hold on, listen. They
did not.
They took Daniel Jones. They took Dexter Lawrence. They took DeAndre Baker. They fill needs. We don't feel. Oh, listen.
Dave Gettleman sits here in the NFL right now, and people are saying, what a jackass he is.
Listen.
He looks like a complete jackass.
Now, that's my feeling I had before. But then, as I said, I was taking a Gettleman. I'm like, you know what? What WTF? What did we just do? We took Daniel Jones at 6. Now, whatever you want to say about it, it wasn't the right pick at 6. It would have been the right pick at 17. Now, you're going to give me the perspective of, hey, listen, if he's good enough at 17, then why wait for him and take him at 6? No. You take him at 17 because when you look at this entire draft, we talk about a big board. We talk about player rankings. You're telling me, though, he was the 6th best player in this entire draft. Now, if anyone has watched any sports this morning, you'll find out and notice, check your Twitter accounts, that the Giants had Daniel Jones as the 1A quarterback, and their 1B quarterback was Drew Lock. Now, if that is true, you're telling me, though...
You're telling us.
Telling us, excuse me. You're telling me because really I'm the one that cares about it and I'm the one talking about it is... Your second best quarterback you had is a quarterback that not 31 other teams decided to draft in the first round. 31 because you have to have the Giants. That 31 other teams did not want to take him in the first round. Now you can say, Ted, 31 other teams weren't selected. There was other. I know that, but someone could have came up and drafted him if they wanted him. So in the entire first round, Drew Lock did not go. So your second best quarterback, no one wanted. And no one wanted Daniel Jones. See, I told Chaz this morning on the way up, I bet you a lot. If you play Texas Hold'em, you know about baiting people into giving up their money. Hey, listen, I'm going to go all in. Oh, man, that guy must have something good. When really only had a 2-pair. That's what a lot of teams played on the Giants last night. Hey, we're going to get Daniel Jones when they really didn't want him.
I got a couple more takes on this.
The Giants messed up because they had so many more many glaring holes on defense. You look at a guy in Daniel Jones who his best season was last year, just barely over 60% completion percentage, barely over 225 yards, which in the college game, it's all about passing now. 22 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. He had 52 total touchdowns in 3 seasons. Dwayne Haskins had 50. See, my perspective is this.
Hold on. Do you know what this is about, Ted?
What? Tell me.
This is all about, and I said it to Chaz, and me and you even said it. Add the name Manning to most powerful names in the history of sports. Folks, this is all about, are we getting a caller? Are we getting a caller?
Yeah.
See who it is. We'll pick it up. Hello? Caller, you there? Caller, you there?
Hold on.
Are we getting it?
Oh, it stopped connecting. Hold on 1 second, because I know someone's in.
Do we have a caller?
Yeah, we do. But the phone
right,
just
I'm going to get on until I hear something. All right, so you take him at 6. Doesn't that mean at number 6, he should be an immediate starter? No. According to Dave Gettleman, they may be going in the Green Bay model.
Do we hear you? We have a caller.
Hello? I don't hear anything.
We'll have him call back.
I don't hear anything.
We'll have him call back.
I just heard the sound ends. I didn't hear him call.
We'll have him call back.
Maybe he'll try to call back, hopefully. The Green Bay model. So when you take somebody at 6, he should be playing this year or within a year if he's a quarterback. Let's try it. We got a caller. Caller, you on? Are you there? Caller.
Jeez, boys, what's going on, Pat?
What's up, Patty? How you doing, big guy?
It's Patty Byrne.
Is he there?
Yeah.
I think he's waking up. Can you hear us?
Can hear you guys.
Can you hear us or no? Yeah, you should be able to hear us. Can you hear us or no? Hello?
I can hear you guys.
Okay, you can hear us.
All right, so last night I was watching the draft at my buddy's house.
Yeah.
And I kept telling him that I did not want Daniel Jones to go to the Giants.
Yeah.
And what happens at pick number 6?
What happened?
Daniel Jones goes to the Giants.
Yeah, I mean, you think about it. The past 2 years, you had the opportunity.
This is probably one of the worst picks that Gettleman can do.
Oh, yeah, this is
He
one,
did the
this is
same
one of the
thing
worst.
when he was at Carolina, pushing players away, like he did to the running back. I forget his name. But, now he wants to throw away Odell. And the only thing that I like about the draft last night was picking up DeAndre Baker. Dexter Lawrence tested positive for drugs before the championship game, and he couldn't even play that game.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll hang up and I'll listen to you guys talk.
Thanks, Patty. I appreciate that. That was a Giant fan right there. It just, you can hear
Hey, listen, Pat Byrne, thank you very much for calling. Listen, I agree with you, bud. Didn't want Daniel Jones. Dexter Lawrence at 17 wasn't the right pick. He was not the right pick, bud. You're completely right. You could have got him later in the second round, or you could have traded up to get him. I like the DeAndre Baker. What I don't like is trading 3 picks to go get him when possibly you could have got him at 37. There's still corners left. I think the biggest thing that Giants fans have is we had one of the worst defenses in football last year. We were the 30th ranked team in sacks, and then you had Josh Allen.
Hold on.
You had Allen Oliver. You had Montez Sweat. You had guys that had possibilities of drafting someone, and you didn't take them. You took a quarterback at 6, and what David Gettleman is telling me is, hey, we are going to sit him for 2 to 3 years, where in the NFL you don't sit a guy for 2 to 3 years.
No, you don't sit.
Not at 6.
No,
not at 6.
If you're taking the 6th pick. So I wrote down 2 quotes that really got to me. And I watched the whole 23-minute press conference right before I was going to bed. Because I had to. I was just baffled, appalled that the Giants made a decision at this pick. So it took 3 series. 3 series. Let me say that again. 3 series exactly. So 3 times. 3 series for Dave Gettleman to, quote unquote, full bloom in love with Daniel Jones.
Actually, didn't even know who Daniel Jones was.
So what about Sam Darnold when he was in the Rose Bowl and him and Penn State in one of the best Rose Bowl games I've ever seen? Yes, you had Barkley on there, but you had Darnold. Did you see what Darnold did? I guess that wasn't good enough for you. How about Rosen? How about Josh Allen? How about even Lamar Jackson, the Heisman Trophy winner? But it took you 3 series to say, oh, yeah, we love this kid.
So what was the point of drafting Kyle Oleta last year then?
So, and then, like I said, the other one was the Green Bay model. You have the 6th pick in the draft, and you decide to take Daniel Jones, but you're going to go in the model with 2 to 3 years? That's an immediate starter. Anytime you draft somebody in the top 10, I don't care what position he is, he should be a starter right from the beginning. So you're telling me a 2 to 3 year project in the new CBA rule, that's all completely different. This is not Green Bay of 2005 when they had Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers. This is a completely new thing. Dave Gettleman and the New York Giants are living in the 1990s, and that's the problem.
No.
Hello, caller.
No.
Caller.
No one, you're on, bud.
Is something wrong with your phone today?
No, I don't know. No one, you hear us?
We got sound. Hello, Nolan. Exit. Just hang up. We might have. Let's go figure out this. Can we take a quick short break? Let's take a quick short break and figure this out. I want to get callers in. I want to get people's takes. And we're having issues right now. The usual technical difficulties right now. It's like the New York Giants. What the hell's going on? We'll be right back to talk more Giants, Jets, and the NFL draft first round. We are Keys to the City. We'll be right back, folks.
Dude, what the hell is going on?
You're listening to Keys to the City, brought to you by All Noise Radio. Here's your host, Trevor and Ted.
Yo, you hear us? No, you hear us? Play it again. Because we don't know what the fuck.
Sports, we've got sports. Here on Keys to the City, brought to you by All Noise Radio. Here's your host, Trevor and Ted.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Sorry for the technical difficulties. Callers, we're trying to get you in. There's something going on right now, so we're having technical difficulties. If we can't get callers, we apologize. Don't know what's going on. Like I said, we want you to be in there. I'm very frustrated with the whole Giants thing, and now this is just adding to it. I apologize. So let's get back to the draft. So I was just looking through the past couple of years of quarterbacks, teams that needed quarterbacks at the time. I started with the 2011 class. Jake Locker, 8th overall. Took over from Matt Hasselbeck. Tyron Smith was the next pick. Tyron Smith is one of the best left tackles in the game. Jake Locker's out of the league. Okay. Blaine Gabbert was the 10th pick. Took over for David Garrard. 3 years later, they were looking for another quarterback. J.J. Watt was that next pick. He's going to be a Hall of Famer. Blaine Gabbert is still a backup. Christian Ponder was 12th overall. Took over for Brett Favre. Okay. Robert Quinn, Mike Pouncey, Ryan Kerrigan, Nate Soldier, Cam Hayward, Cam Jordan, all guys that were available there. Then I go to 2014, like I said, Blake Bortles. 3 years later, Jacksonville. This is what happens when you reach for a quarterback. Yes, you might need a quarterback, but if you reach for the wrong guy, your franchise can be turned upside down and you could be playing the game again. And that's exactly what happened with Jacksonville. 2014, they take Blake Bortles at 3. Let's see who they passed on. Khalil Mack, Mike Evans, Anthony Barr, Taylor Lewan, OBJ, Aaron Donald, and Zach Martin.
Let's not talk about
and then also another one more guy that everybody wants to say, oh, he's an athletic quarterback, Daniel Jones. You also know who was an athletic quarterback too that became a big bust? He's currently a backup. His name's Ryan Tannehill. He was a receiver. And now guess what? He's a backup. Yeah, it's raining, it's thunder and lightning. It's a dark cloud right now. It's a dark cloud for us.
Here's what I was thinking about before.
My point is about this whole thing. My point is that, yes, you might need a franchise quarterback, but you don't need to reach on franchise quarterbacks. And that's what the Giants just did. They're going to set themselves back even further more.
Okay, I just want to make this point. You and me have had this argument since last year's draft. We defended the Giants wholeheartedly that they made the right pick at number 2 last year with Saquon Barkley. To anyone who didn't believe that Saquon Barkley was the right pick, now everyone who yelled at us and said we screwed up by taking Saquon Barkley is proven right tonight. Because what you're saying to me is Daniel Jones is better than Sam Darnold. That's what you're telling me. Because in a year last year where, other than maybe the 1983 football class that had 4 Hall of Famers, last year's class was supposed to be the class. If you wanted a quarterback last year, that was the class that you wanted to be in the top 5 or 10 to go get your quarterback. Other years there's 1 or 2 quarterbacks, but last year there was 4 to 6 quarterbacks that everyone felt were legit number 1 guys. however you saw it.
I'm listening.
And then this year, if you wanted O-line and D-line and you needed pass rushers, this was the draft class to have your pass rusher. So think about it. The Giants desperately needed a quarterback last year. Not saying Sam Darnold was going to start, but he was going to be the future of the Giants. So you were sitting there at number 2, and you could have taken him at number 2 and screwed the Jets. But no, the Jets get Sam Darnold, the quarterback of the future. They become the king of the castle. Now, a year later, the Jets don't need the quarterback. So what do? They take possibly the best defensive player, possibly the best player in this entire draft, in Quinnen Williams at 3. And what do the Giants do? The Giants, who now need a quarterback this year, and the draft class is not as even close to last year's draft class. All right. So hold on. So we don't have the quarterback. All right, no problem. We're going to live with Eli. We got Saquon Barkley. But you know what we're going to do? This class is loaded with defensive pass rushers. We have the 30th ranked defense last year. We only had 30 sacks. Only Oakland had worse. We're there at 6. Oh, my God. Ed Oliver's there. Similar to Aaron Donald.
Josh Allen,
the elite pass rusher outside.
And for him to even be at 6 is a miracle. On top of it, just think about that. People were saying this kid was a top 2 or 3, 4 pick in the draft.
Then you could have, not only that, but if you wanted to, you could have maybe traded back to 10 or 11, 12 and maybe got an offensive tackle like Jonah Williams to solidify that offensive line. We talked about the men in the trenches, right? We want to solidify the O-line and D-line. What are we doing? That's what I'm saying. The 2 years were set up perfectly. You could have had Sam Darnold, and I'm not knocking Saquon Barkley because I still think it's the right pick. But you could have had Sam Darnold in the year when the quarterbacks were sitting there ready for you. It's like here you go. Here's the winning ticket for the lotto. I'm going to give it to you.
Hold on. I'm going to comment.
Hold on. And you're not going to take the ticket. Okay. And then the next year, I'm going to give you a second chance, like double or nothing, Ted. I'm literally going to give you the winner. And you said, you know what? Here, take it.
No, Steve, I'm not agreeing with you. I am not agreeing with you. The Saquon Barkley pick was a great pick. He's the rookie of the year. He will be fine going forward. I'm just very frustrated that out of the quarterbacks in the past 2 drafts and even previous years.
It makes Steve look right, though.
And even previous years.
When you take Daniel Jones, it makes him look right because you literally... Now he's like...
I'm talking about previous drafts, too.
But
I'm talking about... You could have had possibly Patty Mahomes.
But Trev, the guys like Steve... And I'm not knocking Steve because Steve is partially right. When now you take Daniel Jones, he makes you right. He makes you wrong because he goes, you know what? You got Daniel Jones now and Saquon Barkley. And you know what the Jets got? They got Quinnen Williams and Sam Darnold. They got the best.
And what are the Jets going to get out of all this? 8-8 probably, which is fine.
What are the Giants going to get?
Hey, they still will have something in common.
Don't knock the Jets.
Still have something in common. You're making it seem like the Jets are Super Bowl contenders now.
But the Jets have a brighter future now. The Jets' future is much more brighter than the Giants. They got Jamal Adams. They got Quinnen Williams. They got Leonard Williams. They got C.J. Mosley. That looks like a defense that is a hell of a lot better than the Giants. They got Sam Darnold. They got Le'Veon Bell.
Nolan,
who do we got?
To answer your question, I would have had no issue with the 6th pick. You take the best defensive player. That's 17.
I would have took Ed Oliver at 6.
I'm going to throw something at you if you don't be quiet. Let me make my point.
Oh, why? Because you can interrupt?
Because I get it once every show. Yeah.
Because this is a passionate thing because they took Daniel Jones.
Yes, this is. You know how I felt about this for weeks. For weeks, I said that this would be the worst pick.
And you said, prove me wrong last night.
And that's what I want to say to people. Prove me wrong, Daniel Jones. Prove me wrong, Gettleman. Don't prove me right in this situation.
Yes, Trevor would have traded that second round 37 pick for Josh Rosen. He would have, because Trev goes, listen, he's already played a year into the game.
I would have taken Rosen for the second round pick if they decided to go defense first and maybe offensive tackle 17th. And I would have been perfectly all right with that whole scenario.
And here's the thing now. If you're the Giants and you don't think about this now. If you're the Giants, now looking at it from hindsight, right? Now that the first round is over, Drew Lock is still sitting there. Now, if you look at the first 4 or 5 picks in the second round, none of those teams need quarterbacks. Arizona, Oakland, Jets. whatever. Tampa, they don't need quarterbacks, so they're not going to draft Drew Lock. The Giants could be sitting there at 37, sitting with Drew Lock possibly in their belly button. Now we don't have another pick
belly button.
Well, whatever.
What the hell was that?
It doesn't matter.
That was somewhere out of left field, man.
Listen, I said this last night. The Giants now, by trading into the first round, don't pick for another 62 picks. Yeah. The 95th overall pick they have. And this draft, if you know anything about this football draft, if you watch enough football and mock drafts and anything in the last 2 months, you know the draft is built for tonight. This is where tonight's draft is the best. Second and third round. This class was not built for the first round. This was not the pageant tonight. This was built for tonight. This is where you're going to get your best value in tight ends, running backs, receivers, and defensive players. But what do the Giants have? We don't have a pick pretty much the whole night. The Giants, like the Oakland Raiders, had 3 first-round picks, and the Giants I'm
going to say this right now. I'm not one of those Giant fans that are going to smash a TV and say, I'm done with this team.
We're not done.
Or go be a different team, go be like a Browns fan or something. No, I stand with Big Blue. I die with Big Blue. I'm just very, very overly frustrated with a pick that is a project pick at the 6th pick. Project pick at 6th pick. 6th pick should be a guaranteed starter, an immediate starter. Immediate starter. He should be coming in and making an immediate impact for your team. Whether that was a defensive player or an offensive lineman or any one of those players. Linebacker, receiver, any one of those. A 6th pick has to be a go-to guy and an immediate impact starter. For the Giants to take a guy like Daniel Jones right now, and him saying stuff like projects, it just shows that the New York Giants still don't know what they want to do with Eli Manning. And if Giant fans, if you want to deal with Eli Manning for another 2 years, well, guess what? That may become a reality.
You know, and one of our guys who's a very passionate Giant fan, just like us, has his own podcast, wrestling podcast, very popular. Ralph.
Oh, Ralphie. Yeah, go if you like wrestling.
If you're a big
Psychobabble, Squared Circle, Psychobabble, great podcast.
Him and his brother, the Valenti brothers.
If you like wrestling, go check him out on Twitter, Facebook.
But he said, this is what YouTube. He just texted us, Trevor. I don't know if you saw it. It says, assuming Eli is the best G-Man quarterback ever.
Who?
He said Eli.
Yeah.
Assuming he's the best quarterback ever for the Giants.
Yeah.
And he thinks he is. If this new guy doesn't win at least 1 or 2 Super Bowls, he's a bust. Also, if you're going to draft a quarterback, then why the hell did you trade Odell Beckham? So this is what we did. We traded our best pass rusher in Olivia Vernon. We got a guard. Okay, 1 for 1, whatever. We needed to solidify the offensive line. We drafted Saquon Barkley over Sam Darnold because we were going all in, right? We're going all in last year. Now, what Gettleman is telling us is we got a quarterback that probably is a project, and we're going to wait 2 to 3 years. So we went from all in to now we're going to have a project. We're going to wait another 2-3 years. That means Saquon Barkley by then he'll be no legs McGee because he'll be run to the ground.
It just shows that Dave Gettleman, that they still want to have faith in Eli, but last year
So Eli's going to be the quarterback for the next 2 or 3 years?
According to them. A couple questions I was just looking at. Nolan, if they were thinking about taking Burns, if Burns was there at 17, that could have been their guy. Carolina came up and swooped him right before the Giants. And Dexter Lawrence could be great, but he can be great somewhere else that needs him. I do not think the Giants needed to take a guy like him.
Doesn't need a 340-pound nose tackle.
You needed a pass rusher, or you could have solidified the offensive line. If you wanted to go in that, I just don't like the first 2 picks. And the DeAndre Baker, it's a good value pick, but trading back up for 3 picks, now waiting 62 picks.
Someone used them. Someone used the Giants because you didn't need to give up 3 picks.
The Giants.
It wasn't like he was a stud.
You know, remember when DJ Khaled? Congratulations, you played yourself. Well, that's what happened to the Giants last night. You got played, Dave Gettleman. You're still living in the 1990s philosophy, and teams are living in today's day and age, and that's why teams like the Colts, the Seahawks, the Patriots, teams that traded out and got more picks, are going to be in the playoffs and competing for championships. And you're going to be in top 5 drafts, top 10 again, no winning seasons, because you're still with this old school philosophy and mentality. And the Mariners, look, I hope Daniel Jones becomes and Eli Manning 2.0 and wins a Super Bowl. But this was just a massive, massive reach.
And I'll end it on this.
So we got to talk some New York Jets as well. Go on. Make your final take.
That's okay. What I was going to say with Dexter Lawrence is, in today's game where it's so spread out, this is not ground and pound running the football 3 yards in a cloud of dust. You grab the 340-pound nose tackle. Now, you got B.J. Hill last year. You had Dalvin Tomlinson. They're pretty much the same thing. What is the point of getting a nose tackle? This is about pass rushing, okay? We need guys that can go up the field and get a quarterback. We're not looking for guys to just hold up the offensive line. We needed linebackers. We needed secondary. We needed pass rushers. We needed a right tackle.
Why do you think I just said this is...
Dexter, well, listen.
Why do you think I just said Gettleman's living in the 90s and we're in 2019?
It doesn't make sense because we read a report last night. They said they moved... You traded away snacks and you literally got a lower version or a cheaper version of snacks again. What is the point? Here's my thing. What is the point? You traded...
What are you telling your fan base?
In today's football, okay, it's not really about stopping the run. It is, but it's more about getting pressure on the quarterback.
All right.
When the Giants were winning their Super Bowls, it was about sacking Brady and developing pressure. Dexter Lawrence is not going to give you that interior pass rush like like Ed Oliver, like Montez Sweat, like Josh Allen, like anyone else in the world that could have got.
All right, let's get over
to the Jets.
This is how we feel about the Giants so far, first round. As you could tell, they are the big losers of the first round. I don't care that they had 3 picks. They were the big losers.
Here's my.
And we're gonna no. Let's get to the Jets. We got to give the Jets.
Overall, the NFL draft.
No, because we are in New York and we have Jet fans that follow us and watch, and we have one of our avid fans and followers, Nolan Rich, who's a big Jet fan, and the Jets. In the past 2 years, you get Sam Darnold and you get Quinnen Williams. The Giants get Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley. Right there, it just shows that the Jets, Mike McGagnon, did a tremendous job, again, getting the best player on the board at 3. I really thought they were going to go Ed Oliver.
You can make the argument, though, that Quinnen Williams is the best player in this entire
I really thought they were going to go Ed Oliver. I really was like, wow, the Jets might go Ed Oliver.
But I like it because what did I say to you last night? I said, if you know anything about beating Tom Brady, it's not about getting outside pass rush. It's
from the A-gap. Coming up the middle.
Hey, quickest straight line was A to B, right? Straight line, A to B, point A to B. You got to get up the field. So now you're going to have Leonard Williams and you're going to have Quinnen Williams right up the middle, and they are going to eat up anybody who's center guard center in that AFC. They are going to be trouble for the next 10 years. And now C.J. Mosley is going to be able to run free and be able to make plays in space. So the Jets, on that hand, both guys are run stoppers, but they're also can pass rush to quarterback. They are going to be – the Jets hit a home run with it.
Last night showed again that the Giants don't know what they're doing, and every other team – well, not every other team. The Jets know what they're doing. That's why the Jets are put in the position.
To trade out.
The Jets are in the position right now to succeed for the future. And the Giants right now are in the position to just go with the motions, I guess, and just hope to God that Daniel Jones becomes a star.
So, and I'll just say this from the overall take of the draft. Arizona Cardinals, we knew what you were doing. I know you made a stink deal like you were going to take Nick Bosa, but you really weren't. You took Kyle Murray. Good for you. That's what you wanted. It's going to fit your scheme. What I don't like what you did, Arizona, is you still got Josh Rosen on that team. What are you going to do? Right now, you have no leverage. Everyone in the league knows you got to get Josh Rosen. So you think you're going to get a first round. You think you're going to get a second round. You're not. The best you're going to get for Rosen right now is a third or fourth round. And if you think I'm crazy, go look on Twitter. Go read mock drafts. Go listen to all the radio shows that we've been listening to. You have no leverage because they know you have to get rid of him. So if they know it, you have no leverage over it. With that being said, I like the pick in Kyle Murray. Hopefully he'll succeed. It should be fun to watch him.
Let me ask you
Hold
this.
on. I like the 49ers pick with Bosa.
We're not going pick for pick.
No,
I want to ask you something. I want to ask you something.
Go on.
What was your favorite pick in the first round?
Favorite?
Do you have a favorite pick?
I don't have the entire draft in front of me. I will say I like what Washington did.
I had to get it for you.
I'll put it this way. I like what Washington did with getting Dwayne Haskins and Montez Sweat and traded up. You get your pass rusher to team up with Ryan Kerrigan because you lost your other pass rusher to Green Bay in free agency. And you got your quarterback of the future. You don't know what Alex Smith is, and you have Case Keenum as a bridge for the year and see how he does. Colt McCoy is not your quarterback of the future. And you're going to have Darius Geis coming back off an ACL injury. So you had another needed receiver, but I like if you don't have a quarterback, you're not going to be successful. I like the Bills. I mean, listen, you're sitting there at 9. You get Ed Oliver, he falls you. Hey, for you got to look at he was a top 5 talent. You get him at 9. It's not a reach. It's a perfect fit. Good for them. And then the other guy that you gloriously love, and we said this last night, Riddick. Riddick should be.
There's a reason why Louis Riddick should be a GM and Dave Gettleman should not. Louis Riddick gets it. Dave Gettleman doesn't get it anymore. Dave Gettleman is out of his mind. Dave Gettleman is living in the 1990s, and Louis Riddick is playing the nowadays.
The Steelers.
And that's why Louis Riddick should be the GM of the New York Football Giants. Not Dave Gettleman, but the Giants are in-house, and I'm sick of it.
He literally called out the Giants last night because he knows he should have had the job. It's because
they didn't want to take him because it's not in the house. It's not that.
And the Giants, I think, are a little. Well, they're biased. And
home biased.
In other formats too, but they don't want change. They don't want something different. They've been the same cheap team forever. They've never been the team to go get free agents. They're not the sexy thing. They don't do something out of the sort. They're going to be the same plain white paper all the time. They're not going to have any flash or color. That's why they haven't had. Literally, Lawrence Taylor is their sexiest pick, and something different.
All right, so your favorite pick was Ed Oliver, Bills. I have a couple as well. I really do like.
I like the Hockenson pick. I had that for Detroit. I do like that because it gives Matthew Stafford a solidified passing weapon who can also help in the run game because he's such a great blocker.
I got 2. I love what the Pittsburgh Steelers did. I said that any team that would draft this kid, Devin Bush, is going to get a bona fide star. A 10 to 12 year absolute beast at a middle backer. He can play anywhere you want. He can do anything you want. He can blitz. He's fast, athletic, tough, nitty-gritty. Loves to play football. He is the best. To me, he was one of the top 3 football players in this draft. He's been my favorite pick of this my favorite player in this entire draft. And the Pittsburgh Steelers hit a grand slam with that pick. The other one I really like.
Yeah, because they saw a guy they wanted and they did it. And he's going to be the leader of their defense.
The other one I like too. You might be surprised. I love the Miami Dolphins pick. I love Christian Wilkins.
High character.
Christian Wilkins is a great pick, and it's a great value. At 13, this is an option that the Giants could have went at 6 too. He was one of those guys I felt like the Giants may go 6. You get him at 13. You didn't reach for the quarterback. You kept to your word. And that's the good thing about teams. Some teams keep to the word. The Dolphins, don't know. Maybe they will go get Drew Lock. Time will tell. He's still available, but you didn't reach on. You didn't go get Dwayne Haskins, and you didn't go get Drew Lock. I love this pick. This kid is going to be an immediate stud for them in the middle of that line. They need help on the defensive line. They need help everywhere. But this is the best available player at that time, and I love the value pick. Christian Wilkins will be a star for the Dolphins. Great pick for them.
Now, you know what? I'm not going to say pick. But you know what 2 teams I really liked what did in this draft? First of all, it's the Seattle Seahawks. They came into this draft with 4 picks in this entire draft. They end this draft after day 1 with 2 first rounds.
They didn't come in with 4. Remember, they had the 2 first round picks.
No, I know. They came into the draft with 4. They end up picking up an extra first round, so they had 2 first rounds. They end up finishing day 1 with 9 total picks. And they still got value. There's a lot of value in this team, Seattle. They got a pass rusher out of TCU. They feel the need. They're going to have a lot more picks, and this draft is about the 2nd and 3rd round. The other thing I like is the Packers. I was completely wrong. I think like a lot of people, everyone thought that they were going to be all in on offense. Well, you know what? The Packers, the last 13 picks, 12 of them have been defensive players. They went defense. So they're going to shore up that defense. in a division where, hey, listen, we got Aaron Rodgers. We have the best quarterback in the conference and in the division. We're going to solidify our defense, hold teams down, because we know Aaron Rodgers is the best quarterback and he is the difference maker. I don't need to have other guys make the plays. What?
Aaron Rodgers ain't the best quarterback.
He's the best quarterback in the conference.
Okay,
the
yeah.
NFC.
One more pick that I really like, and then I'll get to the teams that we don't know what they're doing.
Oh, we know what we didn't like. It's the Giants.
Well, no, we'll talk. Baltimore Ravens. I love the pick of Marquise Hollywood Brown.
They traded back too to
and I did. They traded back, but I also like what the Eagles did. You get Andre Dillard, who can be a monster for them, and they need help at that line. Jason Peters is getting old. You could probably try to transition him over to your next left tackle for the future. Great pass blocker. Marquise Brown, Hollywood Brown. You want to help out your franchise quarterback? Either you were going offensive line or you were giving him a weapon. And you got the best receiver in this draft. And it's a home run hitter, too. It's a home run hitter. That speed with him and Lamar Jackson, it's going to be a tough team to beat. It's going to be a tough team to defend because of the speed they have now. Marquise Brown, yes, he's tiny. He's coming off a serious foot injury, but this kid is a home run hitter. Just ask Kyler Murray how much he was loved at Oklahoma. Ask Baker Mayfield as well. This kid was great for both of them. He was their number one receivers. And the Ravens just got a home run pick at 25. Also, you get draft picks as well. So let's go on to the guys that, just want to say, what the hell are you doing? So obviously, we already know it's the Giants is on up because we're the Giants and we just don't know what they're doing. So the next one.
I'll have two teams.
Okay.
The first is the Jacksonville Jaguars. And this is not...
And people will be like, what do you mean?
Well, this is the way I look at the Jacksonville Jaguars, right? You have abundance of defensive players. Your defense wasn't your problem last year. It was your offense. Excuse me.
Your excuse.
Josh Allen, I understand. He was probably top 5 value. And you're like, wait, I'm sitting there at 7? That's an easy choice. But they took a defensive tackle last year out of Florida, Tavon Bryan, excuse me. Now you take Josh Allen. Where does he fit in your system? Really, you're a 4-3 defense. So is he going to play outside linebacker? He's going to play with Tevin Smith and Miles Jack. Really, he's more of a 3-4 outside linebacker than he is an outside linebacker covering in the flat and in the tight ends. And you have Calais Campbell. You have other pass rushers on that defense. I'm sitting there at 7 going, I just got Nick Foles. We really don't have any receivers. Marquise Lee is coming off a major injury. We have a glaring hole on offensive line, and there's a tight end in Iowa who could really help our quarterback out. Mm-hmm. And he could also help our line in blocking and helping Leonard Fournette run. You take another pass rusher, it's like, I understand pass rusher, but like, let's start helping our offense out. You got Nick Foles. He needs weapons to throw to. He was successful for the Eagles when he had Ertz and Alshon Jeffrey and Nelson Aguilar, and he had weapons to throw. I don't understand when you already have pass rushers and it's not a glaring need. It's just enough is enough. Let's try to help the offense out once in a while. Right. And my other pick is the Houston Texans.
Did you just have one pick?
No, I said two.
This was all one.
That was Josh Allen.
Holy hell.
Oh, holy hell. And
that was a while, bro.
And the other one was the Houston Texans. I said it before. Tyus Howard, the offensive tackle.
Tyus Howard, yeah. He
from Alabama State. Now, Mel Kiper had him as the 70th overall. Now, I know Mel Kiper's not a scout, doesn't play for the...
Yeah, he doesn't play. We know.
But this is what he does for a living.
Yes.
He does this 365. He grades these guys.
He's already grading for next year.
Now, Tyus Howard was like the 5th best tackle. You had Juwan Taylor. You had Cody Ford.
Do you have more water?
You had Andre Dillard. You had so many guys there to help out your offense line. You reach for a guy that's playing FCS football. Mm-hmm. Why not take a guy like Juwan Taylor that week in and week out goes against SEC competition? The closest thing to the NFL. I don't understand what you're doing reaching for a tackle when he is not ready to play day one.
All right.
I'm just saying.
No, I got you. No.
When you select in the first round, when you select the guy in the first round, I don't care if it's the 32nd pick or the first pick. You're saying he's supposed to be a day one starter. I don't care.
Yeah. First round pick.
So we know Daniel Jones
round pick.
Any first round should be a day one starter. It should not be a project.
He'll probably be a day one starter though. They'll still put him in there.
And Deshaun Watson will get sacked.
Well, he's going to get sacked. It happens. My pick kind of is a head scratcher in the sense of it's the Titans. And not because of the player. Jeffrey Simmons would have been a top 5, top 10 pick had he not had his issues or his injury. What I'm more frustrated about is the way he got introduced to the Tennessee faithful. The Tennessee Titans
the whole
faithful.
ESPN thing.
The whole ESPN thing kind of just made me, and we were watching it, and we at the end were just like, I'm kind of sick.
I tweeted about it.
I did too, and I'm like, I'm kind of sick to my stomach that this kid just got drafted. Now you think about this, me and you will never be able to realize how great of a moment this is for these kids. These are college kids. These are young kids. They're going to the National Football League. So the first, I'm going to say my thing.
I wasn't going to say anything.
You were about to come in.
I was going to say, just
Shut it, Stephen A. Shut it, Stephen A.
Explain his story.
I was going to.
Well, the ACL injury, he would have been a top 10 talent.
He would have been a top 10 talent. Oh, you're like Stephen A. I just want to get a muzzle.
No, but I was just going to explain.
I want to get a muzzle.
I was going to explain Bernard's part where he said you're a Titans fan, and
this is the first. Yeah, the first image you see of this kid is not his highlights. It's a video. Now, what he did is despicable and disgusting, and I do not approve of it whatsoever. But shame on the ESPN for making this decision to air this video. Oh, well, this is going to be very disturbing. Somebody said it. What if there's a little, I think Bernard said, what if there, you said it? What if there was a little kid watching this and he's like, Daddy, what is this? That's how the Tennessee faithful got introduced to their first round pick, of him beating up a woman.
So the night he
punching her on the ground, literally throwing bombs at her. And we're not even getting his highlights. So that's what Tennessee's first image is of their first round pick. What he did, it's disgusting.
Trev, don't even think about the Titans. Think about the kid himself.
But the kid, think about what that kid has to go see now. Is that's the first image. We a wife beater, a girl beater,
a woman beater,
an assault. Yeah, a woman beater. That's our first pick.
It's not about the top.
And you know what? Shame on ESPN for showing it. They didn't need to show it. You don't need to show a video like that. What are you trying to do? Are you trying to ruin a kid's? That's the problem with the media nowadays. Ruin people's lives right before it can even get started. And that's what they just did.
I don't care what position you get selected in the NFL draft. If you get selected in any draft, I don't care, baseball, football, hold on. If you get selected in any draft, it should be a glorious moment. It should be a moment that should be a happy excitement. You should shed tears, because it's something that most people will never understand what it's ever be able to experience.
And for them to do that.
You get drafted in the first round of the NFL after tearing your ACL, which you know you lost millions of dollars. You're not going to play the entire season. You would have been a top 10 pick. And the video and what ESPN decided to show is, instead of saying, you know what, congratulations, kid, considering everything you've gone through in your life, you could have failed, but you got selected in the NFL draft. No, we're going to show you separating a fight from your sister and another woman, and then after you broke up the fight, you decided to punch the woman. So we're going to, I can't even say the word, we're going to, crap on your
belittle.
face.
We're going to
belittle and crap down your throat when you have, it's like, you know what, you just won $1 million. Guess what? Someone comes up and rips a check right in front of you and goes, no, it was a fake ticket. I mean, how do you do that to someone on that situation?
That's the society.
On national television.
That's media. And I know what he did.
And Trey Wingo goes, it's disturbing.
We're sorry. We're sorry we're going to show you this, but we're going to still show you this.
In your mind,
if I'm an analyst and I'm saying I have to say this, I'm like, I ain't saying this.
No, you're going to say, why am I even showing it?
Why are we even showing this? It just frustrates me to see something like that happen. What he did, I'm not taking away. It is unacceptable. It is despicable. It is disgusting. It should not be allowed. It should not be shown on a player's day. This is his moment. He's going to the NFL.
Show it today. Show it after the fact.
Just show it at all.
Yeah, but show it today if you really want to talk about it.
That's the first round for you, though. All these teams.
I don't have a problem with I don't have a problem
all
with
these
the Raiders
teams.
picks.
Seattle,
they filled needs.
All these teams like Seattle, Packers. No, Seattle, the Patriots, the Colts. There's reasons why they're in the positions that they are, and then teams like the Cardinals, like the Raiders, and like the Giants.
I don't have a problem with the Raiders.
No, I don't. I'm just saying
they feel the need. They got a pass rusher. They got a starting running back, which you said, Trev. I
love Josh Jacobs.
And
great.
They got a safety, which they need in Jonathan Abram.
But they've had bad drafts previous to why they've been here. So I'm just saying, not this year.
Is a high character guy. And this is what all ended on my perspective is the Giants and Gettleman told us all these fake lies. He has literally lied to us. He goes, we're not going to reach for a player. He reached for a player. We need 2 guaranteed starters, impactful pass rushers. Remember, we need pass rushers. We need a pass rusher. We got to get the best available player at 6. That's how I feel. I'm speechless. I just don't have words for it. Honestly, I hope it all works out for us. We're Giant fans. I just don't like the picks. I have an opinion just like anyone else has with any other perspective in life. I have an opinion. If you agree or disagree, that's the way it is. The Jets got Sam Darnold last year and got Quinnen Williams. Good for you. The Giants got Daniel Jones.
That's why the Giants are in the position that they are, and that's why, and I've been saying it, they have become the new laughingstock of the NFL. Ladies and gentlemen, we're taking our one and only break. When we come back, we're going to be joined by the fan favorite Joe Aguiar to talk some baseball. It's been long overdue.
He's going to have a perspective on the Giants.
We'll get his take. But Yankees baseball, Red Sox. We'll be right back. Keys to the City, All Noise Radio.
Sports, we've got sports. Here on Keys to the City, brought to you by All Noise Radio. Here's your host, Trevor and Ted.
And ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Thank you for listening to the Keys to the City. You can follow us at Twitter, Keys to the City, Instagram, Keys to the City, and on Facebook. Go follow us. Check us out as we discuss. Today's episode has been NFL draft so far. That's what we talked about. We talked about the Giants, the Giants, whatever. The new laughing stock of the NFL. We've been talking about the NFL draft. Joe, we're gonna get into baseball in a sec. Yeah. But you are a Giant fan.
Yes.
I just want to get your overall take.
I didn't think I could be more disappointed in a draft where my favorite team had 3 picks in the first 30 and yet still somehow can say after day 1 of the draft that they're not a better team than they were before the draft. I find that almost hard to believe. I mean, nobody wanted Daniel Jones at 6. He would have been there at 17. It's a shame
They feared that Washington.
It's a shame that Dave Gettleman has made you guys fight like you're fighting today.
I'm not even fighting with him.
It's Gettleman's fault.
No, I'm not even. No, I'm
I
not
heard
even,
a lot of yelling.
I'm not even fighting with him. I haven't even fought with him.
You guys both agree. Horrible draft.
We both have agreed when we watched it. And the moment he said Daniel Jones, I literally just went like this. I'm like, I walked away. From my my cousin.
No, tell him what you said. I'm going to bed. I'm done.
I was like, turn the draft off. The draft's over for me. This is the one guy. They could have drafted a freaking punter, and I would have been happy with that at 6. They took the one guy that I dread, and now it became a reality.
The worst thing I saw was literally one of the scouts said, career backup with pedestrian skills.
The other thing, and
what you want.
The other thing that I watched right before I went to bed, I watched the press conference of Dave Gettleman and Pat Shurmur. Pat Shurmur just looked so uninterested. He looked awkward. He looked like that was not who he wanted to take at 6. I felt like Gettleman wanted to take him. That was his guy. But the biggest thing that I take away is maybe we're going to the Green Bay model. 2 to 3 years. You drafted a kid at 6 to wait 2 to 3 years. You're drafting a kid at 6 to be an immediate starter. What kind of pick is that then? That's in the new CBA rule, 2 to 3 years. You're getting maybe a year of him saying, we're either keeping him or we're getting rid of him.
Usually by the 3rd year, you're talking contract.
But you get the player option 5th.
Can I point something out? When the Giants traded Odell Beckham, I was angry.
We all were. It's an initial reaction.
I threatened to give up my Giants fandom.
You can't do that.
And a certain Trevor Keys called me out for it.
Yes.
And
I did.
He was right.
You can't. You got to be a better fan than that.
It was extreme. You told me to trust the process. And I said, okay. Okay. I'll trust the process. You said Dave Gettleman has a plan. And I did. Yes, I did. I thought, you know what? There's one thing I like about Trevor Keys. He doesn't lie to me. He gives it to me straight. And you told me he had a plan.
Yep.
And then I watched that disaster of a draft for the Giants, and I thought, you're lying.
Did you think
ain't no plan?
The first 6 pick, you thought of me immediately, right?
Oh, my God.
No.
I also turned off the TV. I did turn it back on like 30 minutes later to see the next pick.
Like I said, I did have a trust in Dave Gettleman. I did. I really did, because the Beckham trade at first was like, wow, we just traded Beckham. I didn't think we'd ever do it. That's why I was so upset. But then I just saw people freaking out about it. And I was like, oh, whatever. It happens. This pick, though, it's just so much bigger, because if that was the case that you really wanted a quarterback, it took 3 series for Dave Gettleman to say, I'm full bloom in love. 3 series for Dave Gettleman to say, this is our franchise quarterback. But Sam Darnold, Josh Allen, Josh Rosen, and even Lamar Jackson, if you want to put, you just didn't want those guys.
It took him 1 game to decide Lalletta's out.
No, it took 5 plays.
Lalletta didn't even play.
Lalletta played 5.
Davis Webb,
and he threw a pick. Oh, by the way, good and interesting fact. Past 3
Senior Bowl
MVPs.
Yeah.
Giants fat him.
Quarterbacks.
I feel like the Giants have a real particular formula when it comes to drafting.
Yeah, a white guy.
And it's
a white guy that looks all like Eli Manning.
Well, you know what? Somebody sent me a meme. It's a picture of him, and it says Daniel Jones looks like the guy they would cast to do a story of the life of Eli Manning.
He's
dead on.
No. Yeah, he's been coached by David Kufka. He was at the Manning's quarterback camps for 3 years in a row.
Did you know?
Looks like him, talks like him.
Did you know or realize or think twice about it that Kyler Murray only started for 1 season?
So did Dwayne Haskins.
Right. So here's, I guess, where I get confused. Kyler Murray, everybody number 1 pick. If the Giants would have had to know, that would have been the guy.
No, I don't think they would have. They would have taken Daniel Jones.
No, they said they weren't high on him.
Even worse. I don't understand that.
I know.
Listen, if you're telling me you'd rather have a guy.
I'm sorry.
You'd rather have a guy go 4 years starting in a crappy program, putting up pedestrian numbers, over a guy who only again, look at Tom Brady. Let's think about Tom Brady's career in college.
It was very good, actually, in Michigan. He had big wins and
everybody said, he's a Peyton guy. Peyton was a Heisman contender who was competing for national championships. Eli was in the Heisman running.
Ole Miss to a 10-3 record.
Or 11-3 and beat Oklahoma State in the Cotton Bowl, one of the biggest bowls at the time. And Daniel Jones' biggest win is...
I don't know.
Who's Daniel Jones to say this guy
was the 7th rated quarterback in Todd McShay ACC last year.
Yeah.
The 7th rated quarterback in the ACC. Do you understand that?
Do you know if
he's not the 7th overall rated quarterback? He was the 7th rated quarterback in his conference.
I got to interrupt. Remember last year that you said not Josh Allen because he only had a 60%, less than 60% completion percentage?
Yeah.
And they're like, you know, the NFL, it's not going to go up. You are what you are. He had Daniel Jones this year, 60.2% completion percentage at Duke. Now, I know he had pedestrian wide receivers, and he didn't have a great team, and he's not playing for Alabama. He's not playing for Tennessee. But with that being said, we just watched an article by Bill Barnwell. He said, if you took away all the drops that Daniel Jones had last year from his receivers, he still would be the 36th overall quarterback last year in the entire college football with completion percentage.
Right.
So Todd McShay had him rated 6th in his draft rank.
Daniel Jeremiah Kiper had him 4th.
All I'm trying to say is in a good draft class, in a good quarterback draft class last year. We'll just take last year. He's a 2nd or 3rd round pick.
He's easily the 2nd round.
Just put that into perspective where the Giants just took him.
Now, and here's the other thing, Joe, and I don't know if you heard earlier in the show. Didn't realize this. Listened to an article. Read an article this morning. This is how the Giants' big board went for quarterbacks. 1A was Daniel Jones, so they felt he was the best one. Their 1B, not number 2, their 1B was Drew Lock. Now, if Drew Lock is your number 2 quarterback, but he's still sitting there in the second round, what's that say about your evaluation on quarterbacks when no one else wanted him? I'm just saying, and now
Colin Cowherd even says, and now, what are you doing?
And now you're sitting at 37, like, I don't, crap. We could have still got him at 37
and paid him a ton less.
And yeah,
you'd have saved a lot of money if you would have waited too.
I wrote down a bunch of quarterbacks that were high, that got drafted high, but really weren't. We'll get into baseball.
Trev, are we doing the Chiefs model? Are we doing the Packers model? What are the Giants doing? What model are we doing?
I look at quarterbacks: Jake Locker, Blaine Gabbert, Christian Ponder. 3 quarterbacks from the 2011 class. 2012 class, a guy that people want to compare Daniel Jones to, Ryan Tannehill. Yeah, he was athletic. And Steve said, he had a couple good years. We're looking for a franchise quarterback. I don't want a year or two. I don't want a year or two of good quarterback
Ryan Tannehill?
And then three.
I don't want to wait 3 years for 2 good years.
Remember when I said Jacksonville in 2011, they drafted Blake Gabbert? Hey, guess what? This is what you do when you reach on quarterbacks. You're back drafting another quarterback in Blake Bortles at number 3. So when you want to take a franchise quarterback,
Nick Foles.
I understand you want a franchise quarterback, but just look at the Jacksonville Jaguars, look at the Cleveland Browns, and then look at the Detroit Lions as well. Because you got a guy like Saquon Barkley, who's a superstar. He is going to be the new Barry Sanders.
Trev, you got to go with your model.
Well, real quick,
he was approved by the Mannings, and that's what it comes down to.
That's ultimately what it
Archie
was.
approves it. Eli
agree with this. Agree with this statement. When we talk about famous names, famous sports names, you have to put the Mannings as one of the most famous and powerful sports names.
Clearly.
I'm putting it with the Mara family, the Steinbrenners. I'm putting it with the Buss family, the Rooney family. The Manning family has such a powerful name and meaning to it that a guy like Daniel Jones, that just shows how powerful they are.
Bro,
Daniel Jones just went 6th overall.
Curtis Painter should have never been in the NFL. He was Peyton's backup for a long time.
Yes.
Peyton got hurt.
That 1 year, yep.
Painter had to play, and you saw how ill-equipped he was to be in the NFL. And then somehow, some way, he ended up to back up to Eli with the Giants.
Oh, yeah, Curtis.
So 100% I agree with you. They are a very powerful, and I think it's a shame that the Mannings apparently had to approve the Giants' exit strategy from Eli. That's embarrassing.
You didn't know their power when Eli got traded for 1 to 4 and they had to give up.
No, because he was a young kid. Now I'm really starting to see it because a guy like him, a guy like Daniel Jones, in any other draft is not a first round pick.
I say this a lot about the place I work at. I say, when you're like the smart one in the room, in my place, you hire people below you. You know why? Because you can control them. If you hire someone as smart as you, that person's going to challenge you on a lot of things because their intelligence is at the same level. But if they're at a weaker competition, they never challenge you. So Eli Manning's like, if you take Dwayne Haskins, he's a guy where he could push you for your job.
Yeah.
This Daniel Jones, like Gettleman said, is a project, which means Eli knows when he goes into the season, he's sitting on not a hot seat.
Right.
His seat is comfortable, padded.
He's getting 16 starts.
He's getting 16 starts, no matter what, because we know it doesn't matter what's going to happen. He's going to finish out his contract. The Giants, listen. You know how you know he's got power? He got his signing bonus. He's playing a whole nother year. This is the same team that says he's got a lot of juice in the tank. We know after one season he's got no more juice in the tank. And we picked a guy who's not ready to take over this year. He might not be ready to take over next year. So are we going to Eli Manning again? We're going to do another 1 year, $20 million deal the following year? Like, that's what we're looking at as a Giant fan. And Eli Manning goes, you take him. Don't worry, I'll sit pretty. I won't be. It's an Eli Manning and Manning thing, and Peyton Manning, the Gettleman probably said, are you okay with this?
Here's my final. Here, I want to really get into baseball. Pat Shurmur said this, and think about this quote to Eli. It's your job to win games and keep this guy off the field.
Huh?
You just drafted him 6th. He's supposed to be your franchise quarterback, but you want Eli to keep winning so this guy doesn't play. That just shows that the New York Giants, the Mara family, Dave Gettleman, and even Pat Shurmur and the Manning family don't know what the hell they're doing.
I don't think Pat Shurmur has say.
He has no say. He has no say in it, and you could just see it.
May I ask a question?
Of course.
Am I free to not trust this system any longer?
I don't even know.
Horrible. For a team to have 3 first-round draft picks and to walk away like they did, honestly,
Yeah, they didn't get any better.
They didn't get any better.
I mean,
like everyone on their board
3 picks.
circled,
I don't feel better.
Like
they didn't get any better.
Like on a big board, you circled pass rusher.
Let me shift to this. We're listening to Keys to the City right now. We are with the Joe Aguiar, host of the Roll Call. You can follow him at Roll Call as well.
More than just a Roll Call.
And he's the president of Clovercrest Media. Wow. So let's shift.
Enough about me.
Let's shift over. Let's shift over to something we could be a little happy about, and that's the Yankees. They're winning. They're starting to play well. They're starting to with a JV lineup. They're playing well. Maybe the Giants.
We haven't talked, and Aaron Judge and Clint Frazier gone on the IL.
It's been since
we've talked last Friday about the Yankees.
That's scary because Judge's injury is significant.
Yeah,
and it seems like he might not be back post All-Star break. So your 2 best players.
What?
I'm just saying, with his
post All-Star break. Is it really that bad?
It's significant. Significant.
Yeah, I got a feeling he probably won't pick up a bat for about 6 weeks. It's a really bad oblique strain for him.
Would you say our 2 best players will not be playing until past the All-Star break now?
2.
Would you say Severino?
4, 5 players?
Severino and Judge.
If that's your best pitcher and hitter, and it probably is, yeah.
Didi?
Sure. It's a long list. There's a million of them.
We know the list.
Your ace and your MVP contender are both
listen, now I got to say one thing to you guys. You guys got to start giving Aaron Boone credit because
I'm not.
I don't know.
I'm not bashing him.
I know you even got into it, but I was thinking about it before. What team in Major League Baseball? I can't think of in my lifetime a team that's dealt with more significant injuries all at one time. Like, I could see throughout a season. The season's long, but 14. An all-star team is sitting
at the same time. Right?
That's
shocking.
They should here's the thing. This was before Judge got hurt. It was out of control. Now Judge gets hurt, and now here's the thing. Now your best hitter, because DJ LeMahieu has taken a step back, but he hit the other night.
He's still playing.
He was 4 for 40 going into Wednesday. 4 for 40 going into Wednesday night's game. But Clint Frazier was batting almost 350. Was the star that we expected him to be, and now him going back to second base, sliding back to second base, tweaks an ankle, and now he's on the IL, and it's like. What else?
I've said this to countless people, and I said it to you. I'm not blaming Aaron Boone for any of this. I'm not blaming him for being injured. Or these players being injured. I'm not blaming that on him. This is not his fault at all. He has to put the lineup that gives us the best chance. And I don't even know because it's a different lineup each and every day, it seems like.
It's the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Yankees.
Yes. It seems like that. Other than Gleyber Torres, Gary Sanchez, who else? Oh, and Duhar and Tulo might be coming back next week. So that could be a good sign for the Yankees.
They're hitting, they're swinging, they're running, they're doing the things that you do to prep.
But we cannot be blaming Aaron Boone for anything.
Well, I'll say this, and I mean, I think I've been as critical of Aaron Boone as anybody has, and I will say, and you're right, Ted, kudos to him because he's pushing the right buttons. You know, and it's funny, you just mentioned DJ LeMahieu. The batting average was doing great. It's really taking a dip. Guy's got almost a 700 OPS. And Luke Voigt, another one, batting average kind of in the toilet, 869 OPS.
That's like you at wiffle ball.
That's pretty much what it is.
Well, he's got that streak. He's been on base.
Sure. These guys are getting the job done. If I'm going to criticize one thing of Boone, just if you give me one thing, Gardner can't be in the 3 spot. Don't lead him off. Don't 3 spot him.
But you almost don't know where to put him anymore.
He's the bottom.
But is that
become a power hitter? You know he leads the Yankees with 10 extra base hits? Yeah, I said it. Brett Gardner leads the Yankees in extra base hits.
He has 6 home runs or 5 home runs?
I'll give you another one. Before the injury, Clint Frazier with runners in scoring position was 8 for 16 with 2 homers and 12 ribbies. So a guy who came up late into the season, he was leading the team in ribbies until he got hurt and Voigt passed him. And I remember about a week ago when they said Frazier leads the team with 17 RBI, and I was like, what?
Yeah.
It's because every time there's been a guy on base, he'd come through. It has been something else. Here's the problem, and this is going to piss everybody off, Yankee fans.
Oh, boy.
This is going to end soon. This small ball, base hits, great rallies.
Why?
Because once the big boys are back.
Who?
Stanton will be back. Tulo will be back.
But not for a while, though.
Yeah, but
yeah, I know. I got you.
By the All-Star break, everybody will be back or thereabouts. Judge, Stanton, Tulo, Andujar. You should have the team you thought you were going to have. These guys slapping base hits and rallying from 5 back, that's going out the window. These guys are going to come back, and it's going to be the Bronx Bombers again.
It should be.
And it's going to upset people. And I know people are... Gary Sanchez came back 0 for 4 strikeouts. And already I heard should have just left Romine in there. Let me tell everybody something. Austin Romine is a wonderful backup. He's not an everyday catcher. You're talking crazy when you say things like that. You guys know this. And this is what happened.
I just hate his lack of hustle.
But so did you see the blooper he had in the A game in Charleston?
Yes.
Yeah.
Running down, barely jogging down.
But here's the thing. I would guess, if I had to, that Brian Cashman said to him, Don't run out grounders at Charleston. The last thing I want is him to pull something, rounding out a grounder in an A-ball game in Charleston. So, again, we're quick to be like, oh, lazy. Dude, you're talking about a catcher who had a groin injury last season and still hit 18 home runs. You saw him throw Trout out the other night. I mean, he's the best catcher in the league. He's going to put it... He is the best catcher in the league. You can love JT Realmuto all you want. It took Realmuto a lot of years in the league to get good.
I wouldn't even say him.
Who would you say? It ain't Buster Posey. He's on the wrong side of 30. So
he can stay healthy. Gary
Sanchez, by season's end, will be up around 280. He'll have about 35 home runs. We're going to forget last year happened, and we'll understand that this is the best catcher in the game.
I'll take an under on both of those.
Wow, you have a lot of faith in him.
260 and about 25 home runs.
Big sandwich, 30 home runs, no doubt about it, and a 280. Gary Sanchez.
You should bet him right now. I'm always betting him.
Take the bet.
Take the bet, bro.
The bet.
You could get the big chicken.
No way he hits.
Take the bet.
No way.
I love sandwiches, and everybody knows it.
No way he hits over. I'll buy at that place, the chicken parm place.
Let me tell you something.
There's no way he hits over 30 home runs.
Oh, you're out of your mind. He's definitely going to hit over 30 home runs. He's definitely going to hit over 30 home runs.
35 is, I don't know about 35.
He'll hit 30. He'll hit between 30 and 35, maybe more. I promise you he'll be in the 3-0 numbers.
Sure. I want to ask Joe this one. It's not really a question, but so I told you this. Last week I texted you in the Red Sox game, remember?
Sound like a Shermer statement.
Yeah.
No, I texted Joe and I said, this is where I
don't ask him a question.
Where I think things... Aaron Boone does still make mistakes, and we're still trying to wait for that home run. And it happened.
Yeah.
So I'll give this scenario. Last week against the Red Sox, I believe it was the second game of the series. It might have been in the first one. We had first and second in the 8th inning. I think we were down 1 run. So you had a rookie up at his first at-bat. So instead of taking the bat out of his hand and making him bunt the ball like most people would do, you move the runners over to second and third, and you get the sac fly or whatever, and you get the run. Or if the guy hits the ball to second base, you get the run. It's small ball. You let him swing away, and what does he do? He strikes out.
Yep.
All right, then we get Romine who walks. You get the bases loaded. Gardner comes out. Now, he had a 0-2 count. Luckily for the Yankees, and it's a big luck, he hit the grand slam.
Right.
But
horrible 0-2 pitch.
But when it comes down to playoff baseball, because that's where we're talking about, we don't give a crap about right now. It's all about October. The chances that a grand slam is going to occur is less likely. It's 9.5 out of 10 that it will not happen. So what you got to do when the playoffs come, but here's the thing: when it comes to playoff baseball, Aaron Boone's got to say, you know what? Let's bunt. Let's get the guy over because now I have Stanton or Sanchez in the beginning, and they're going to get me the sac fly to get the runner over. We can't rely on Brett Gardner to hit us a grand slam because home runs are not that likely in postseason ball because pitching and everything else is that much better.
Speaking of pitching, the pitch has been good, but I still feel like it's missing something, Joe. Do you not feel that same way?
I don't.
Really?
I
mean,
don't.
How do you feel about the release of Gio Gonzalez? That he never even had a career with the Yankees.
I think it's unfortunate.
It's perfect for the Mets to go pick up and let him.
Yeah.
No, he already got signed by the Brewers.
The Yankees starting pitchers have allowed 2 or fewer runs in 15 starts this season. Mm-hmm. That is the best in all of baseball. And again, you're talking about a team who doesn't have Luis Severino on it and spent most of the season without CC.
Their actual starting pitching has been great.
But going into last night,
do you think
when obviously bad 5th and 6th inning for Tanaka, they went into last night, the staff ERA, the starters went in with a 3.18, 4th best in baseball. I've been saying since day one.
Domingo Germán has been very good.
Yes,
been saying since spring training, this rotation's good enough, and that was before I knew we were going to have Severino out for all this time. Paxton, first Yankee in history with back-to-back 12 strikeout, no-run games.
No, wasn't it second? David Cohn was the other one?
But he gave up runs.
Gotcha, okay.
Literally shutouts. Not shutouts, because he didn't go.
Well, he did, and then the Yankees blew that one.
No runs out, which is a shame. But again, if he were to do that 10 more times, he'd win the National League Cy Young.
NL? You mean the NL?
The NL Cy Young.
What did he say? He said the National League.
Just like Gary Sanchez is going to hit 35 home runs.
Gary Sanchez, 35 home runs. You could put that in the bank.
That's what's really killed the Yankees has been their bullpen.
So you don't.
The pen's been a disaster.
So you don't think the Yankees need to make any move at starting pitching right now?
No.
Nothing. Nothing like
no. I don't.
No. I'm not talking about a Keuchel or anything like that. I'm just saying.
Like who? That's what I'm saying.
I'll agree with Joe in this sense. If the bullpen, who we thought was supposed to be, if you were grading out, it would have been this.
Chad
it would have been. Hold on, Trev.
What happened?
Trev, hold on. It would have been bullpen. It would have been power hitting, and then it would have been starting pitching if you ranked it. But now it's starting pitching number 1, hitting number 2, and bullpen 3. If we can get the bullpen to where it needs to be, where everyone expected it to be this year, then we'd be in a lot better position record-wise because we've blown 6 of 9 games with the lead because of our bullpen.
Yeah.
And the other night when Green gave up the grand slam, now the Yankees end up still winning the game, but it was 7-1, and it ended up becoming 7-5 when it really should have never even been that close.
Over the last 2 seasons, Chad Green had a 2.18 ERA. It's 16.5, and you ask what's wrong.
Yeah,
his swing rate is. You saw that, right?
I'll tell you exactly what it boils down to. His fastball is interesting because his fastball is about 95, 96.
He doesn't use it as much.
Anybody who sees his fastball, though, says it's got some late life on it. It's coming and it's not really that fast, and then it kind of explodes at the end. Hitters are 10 for 23 on his fastball this year. That is a .435 batting average. Over the past 2 seasons, last year he had a .211 batting average against his fastball. The year before that, it was a .121 average against his fastball. Something about that fastball is just not getting it done this year, and it's a very, very hittable pitch. If you think about, he had that one little stretch last season where he had a couple of rough outings, and again, it was the fastball kind of not doing much and just kind of hanging out there getting crushed, and that's all this season has been for him so far. It's a mechanical thing, and I feel like a little time in the farm, getting it back together. Chad Green will be back. Chad Green is going to be great.
Now, what I'm going to say is built off the Yankees bullpen because that's what we're talking about. But what I'm going to say has to do with the entire Major League Baseball and the bullpen guys. Now, we get the Post. I get the Post, and it's the best sports page in the entire country. Here's what it says. As a snapshot, and this has to do with bullpen, starters in baseball have an average ERA of 4.06 and have allowed a home run every 29 plate appearances. Okay, relievers in the Major League Baseball have an average ERA of 4.39 and a home run average of every 24 at bats. Now they have it ranked every year. Walks are up and home runs are up given by relievers. And what they were saying is the old feeling is starters out once the guy comes up and sees Tanaka the 3rd time, the batting averages jump. So what do? By the 6th inning, we're hurrying up, bringing the bullpen guy. Well, here's the thing. Everyone is seeing these guys over and over and over, much more so than they ever did in the 90s and any other time.
Yep.
So Chapman's 103-mile-an-hour fastball is crap by games 18 against the Red Sox because they've already seen him 17 other times. They've already seen 103 miles an hour. And here's the other thing. Everyone in the Major League Baseball has a guy that throws 100 miles an hour nowadays. There is no difference anymore. It's just throw the ball hard, high strikeout rate, home run rate. And it's a good article, but it just explains how the ERAs and home runs for pitching are at an all-time high. Right now, it's ranked overall number 1 right now in Major League Baseball for relievers giving home runs up at a 1.33 per 9 innings.
He's giving us a lot of stats.
Hold on.
I was like, what's going on here?
If you take Chad Green out of the equation, though, those numbers all go way down for all the baseball.
I want to get over
but
to...
No, it was just explaining.
I'm just kidding. You know, I really agree with you a lot. Listen, I think, I love what Tony La Russa did with the A's in the bullpen, and that's what in the late 80s into the 90s, he was the one that came up with the specialty guys. And I've enjoyed that over the last few years. But we're also in an age, in addition to everything Teddy just said, everybody watches video. So I don't even need to necessarily see you. And you make a good point. If the Red Sox have seen Aroldis Chapman in 16 of the 19 games, come on. They've seen him. They know what they're getting. It's not going to be anything different. And again, and I said this a million times, but there's not a Mariano Rivera in the game anymore. There's not a guy that can go out and you know what's coming and you still can't hit it. I'll go back to the home run there that Chapman gave to Devers of the Red Sox on a 103-mile-an-hour fastball.
Sunday Night Baseball.
I mean,
got him inside.
Holy smoly! Again, when you see 100 and 203-mile-an-hour fastballs enough, just a matter of timing that thing and getting some solid one on it, and it's gone.
Crazy.
So Is it advantageous to pull your starter after 5? The numbers are clearly saying it's not.
Because there's a couple times we've yelled at Yankee, got Aaron Boone, and it's like, leave him an extra and give him an extra. Go batter by batter. Shut up.
But again,
I want to ask him a question.
Again, it's too reliant on the analytics. Again, gut check.
Yep.
Can he get me one more inning? I'm okay with a guy staying in the game too long. I'm all right with that. I'm not all right with you pulling the starter and the reliever blows the whole thing. Because my thought is if I got into the mess, I want to get out of the mess.
At least have a guy ready in the bullpen.
I'm already in it.
Joe, let me get...
I created it. I'm in it. I'm more likely to be the guy to get out of it. You're bringing someone fresh into a bad situation, bases loaded, nobody out. His adrenaline is already at 0. Mine's at 100. Let me work my way out of it if you think I can. Stop relying on the analytics. What's your question?
Let me close out with the Red Sox. I'm going to close out with the Red Sox. They've been so up and down. They just swept Tampa last week. Then they lose to the Tigers. Then they're beating the Tigers. I'm just like, for a team that's so great, but who is that player that needs to carry them going forward? Is it Mookie or is it Chris Sale? Would you say it's one of those two, or is there another guy that really needs to step up his game for the Red Sox to be that team like last year?
I don't think it's a guy, though, but I'll let Joe answer.
First, I don't think Mookie Betts has really been the guy he was last year.
I mean, what he did last year was great.
What he did last year, again, this is why when I brought up JT Realmuto earlier, everybody, he's so great. Guy's had a couple of good years. He's 29. What is he, 29? 28, 29? Whatever he is. He's been in the league a few years. It would only make sense he would start putting up decent numbers. Again, just sort of looking around the league.
28.
He's 28 years old, so he should be having good seasons. Mookie Betts had an outstanding season. I've said it 1,000 times. I'll say it just one more time. JD Martinez is the reason Mookie Betts had the kind of year he had. JD's actually off to a decent start.
He's had a great year.
Mookie's struggling.
So what's going on there?
I want to say... And if you think about every Red Sox championship since 2004, and there weren't any before that, but if you think about it,
such an evil laugh.
The next season is generally a bad one in Beantown.
Yeah, the two times that they've won the World Series, they finished last place.
I think this is just par for the course. I think this team's too good to finish in last place. Again, I still don't know what's wrong with Chris Sale.
Well, the whole pitching staff. Evaldi's now on the IL.
I'm more worried.
That's the more important.
I'm much more worried about Chris Sale because, again, we've talked about this before. The Yankees know roughly when Sevy's coming back. We know it's nothing structural, inflammation, whatever. That'll be fixed. That could be healed.
We can hope.
I don't know what's wrong with Sale. Again, we saw it was a velocity problem, but now it's not. But he still can't miss barrels.
Yeah, because he threw 97 against the Yankees.
Sure, something is wrong, and you still haven't diagnosed it. And that if I'm a Red Sox fan, that is very concerning to me. That I don't know why my ace is horrible.
That's why mine's pitching.
Okay.
Just because now Evaldi's on the IL.
Yep.
He's got. I didn't understand. I read it. I thought it was a mistake. It said body, loose bodies in his elbow. That's what it said. Body.
Are you sure, Ted?
Swear to God, look it up.
Are you
loose
sure?
body.
BODY?
Yes. I looked it up. They even said it on ESPN. I read it.
What's better, that one or Jacob deGrom's elbow was barking? Did you see that?
Was it literally barking?
It said he had loose body.
You didn't hear that?
I'm guessing that's probably bullshit.
You didn't hear that last Friday?
So you got Evaldi's on the IL. Sale can't pitch. All the other guys can't pitch. Your ERA is one of the worst. That's what scares me, because what made the Red Sox good last year, yes, their hitting was phenomenal. One of the best offensive lineups we've ever seen in Major League Baseball history. But their pitching was stout too last year. You had Rick Porcello, who was good. You had Sale at one point. The best
but that
pitcher.
offense.
You know what I mean?
Offense was so dynamite last year.
And what we talked about the Red Sox was their bullpen's an issue, but their bullpen's not their issue. It's their starting pitching.
Their bullpen hasn't been good either.
It's just
lately it hasn't.
But as Joe said, it don't matter how good your bullpen is if your team's giving up 7 runs before you even get a chance to pitch.
You're always losing. What good is a bullpen?
Doesn't make a difference. Can't save a game if you're not winning a game.
Time will tell, I guess. All right, with them. I'm just looking outside right now. Pouring rain. It's dark. It's just like watching the New York Giants' future right now.
I was just going to say what you said, the future. We'll have to wait for the future.
That's all I'm looking at. You know how they say the future is now?
Yeah.
We'll be saying that next year.
It looks gloomy at this point.
That's all I'm looking at is that weather outside. And all I can see is the Giants' future right there. I just can't get over last night. I just really can't.
And you know,
I wanted to come in today, Joe, just being like, Ted, I just want to do a draft show. Because I felt like we could have just spieled off a full hour and a half of the Giants alone could have been a full hour. That's how frustrating.
We did talk about it for an hour.
Did you talk about Dwayne Haskins laughing at the mention of
when he got
Daniel
drafted?
Jones?
You think he was laughing at Daniel Jones?
No,
or
the
you
Giants.
think he was laughing at the Giants?
No, the Giants.
Him? Well,
the Giants picking him.
He said
they won't. He's not laughing at Daniel Jones. He's laughing at the Giants picking him
over it because he wanted to be a Giant. He said it.
Yeah, Haskins said league done messed up.
That's referring to the Giants.
Genius.
That's referring to the Giants.
That also sounds like Rosen. 9 other teams.
Well, funny. You're talking about models and the look. Do you want to be Arizona? Do you want to spend your first round draft pick on back-to-back seasons on a quarterback? Because I got a really good feeling that next season, when the Giants are picking third again, or picking in the top 5, you might have to seriously consider a quarterback in next draft.
No, because
but
bad. Here's the thing. They're not going to, because he's not going to play at all next year. This is why this project.
They're going to trade.
Well, sure. Look,
I just wanted to close on that
Davis
statement.
Webb sit. You never gave him a thought. You didn't do anything.
Did you ever hear that one?
No, I did not.
You did it with Laletta.
I did not.
You never got these guys into games.
These guys were mid-round picks. This kid's a sixth.
I understand that, but he should have been a mid-round pick.
It's hailing right now.
You could have had Jones in the second or third round.
It's hailing outside. It's actually hailing. It's when it rains, it pours. I watched the whole thing last night.
Did you hear why he explained? Why he passed on?
I was about to pass out. I was going to sleep. It's just very frustrating to see what the Giants did last night.
Look at the head coach Shermer. He doesn't look like. I feel like you should be smiling. You had 3 first-round picks, right? Like, does that look like a head coach that's happy?
No, that's a guy that has no say.
He looks like he's got nothing to do with this, and he's fidgety.
It's like the Aaron Boone thing. It's a yes man.
Yeah.
That's why those two guys are there.
He just looks bewildered like, hey, I wanted someone else, but you know what? You're the GM. You're the one that makes the calls. Do what you got to do. But the problem is, I'm the one that's going to lose the job before you probably. You know what I mean? Because the coach always...
absolutely.
Like, I put people around you. It's your job to coach them up and make them good enough. Well, if I don't want them...
I mean, wouldn't you agree that the Giants getting rid of Tom Coughlin and keeping Jerry Reese around was probably, in hindsight,
a tornado warning.
Not a great move?
There's a tornado warning.
So people that are in Windham and Tolland County, be careful. There's a tornado warning. Serious. That's some serious.
Keys to the City brings you sports and weather, folks.
We'll give you the weather update. It's pouring and you got tornado warning. Very serious right now. Be careful out there. It's pouring.
Oh,
and just like the Giants, it's just miserable outside. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm done with the draft. Done with the Giants for now. Done talking about the Giants.
Don't trust the system. I think that's what Trevor's trying to say.
No, I'm not saying that.
Good thing our Brian Forster's not here.
I'm not saying that. We actually have to go see our guy Brian Forster too.
Yeah, he's waiting for
big news coming soon for Keys to the City. We'll announce that as soon as we let you know. It's a surprise. It's a surprise. It's a surprise. But Joe, as always, thank you for joining us. We love you.
I love you guys. Sorry the draft was so poor.
It happens.
It's very disappointing.
Can't be as bad as the Connecticut weather right now. Ladies and gentlemen, we are Keys to the City.
Can't change them.
Enjoy the rest of the draft and enjoy the rest of your weekend. We are Keys to the City. We will be back next week to recap the entire draft, give our draft grades. We'll talk Yankees. We'll talk some NBA playoffs as well. We are Keys to the City. We are out.
Yeah. Keys to the city, baby. When you see us, so you know you really viewing greatness in the making. Double up on facts we stating. Podcasting, cruise control, city, state, the nation. So what you saying, what we saying, prime information. Facts, topics, stipulations, first down, plated. Presenting topics for Kanye, easy to Tom Brady. Facts, keys to the city, we unlocking the statements.